You guys wanted to know how to play League? I'm going to tell you all the secrets on how to play League of Legends. The first thing you do, auto-lock your champion. The second thing you do is as soon as you load into the game, you open the chat and you type /full mute space all. That like mutes everybody. Trust me, trust me. Trust me, you will thank me later. You will thank me later. Third thing you do, buy your items, leave the fountain, don't invade, and don't defend. Then when you get to lane, last hit minions so you get extra gold. If the jungler is ganking and it doesn't look good, just use your best judgment. But most likely, if you're in low elo, it's not gonna go well, okay? Next, what you try to do is like, if you can trade, right? But if you can't trade, just farm. And then what you try to do is like, you try to get gold goals. So like you kind of know like, oh, well, I need to get this item and this item. And the first thing I always do is I always make my first item without making anything else. Like I focus on getting my first item. And you have to know what number of skills you need in order to get a kill. I don't know, that's kind of like very vague because I'm just thinking about Katarina right now. So I guess I'll use Katarina as an example. So, okay, so the first thing I do is I make a Kraken, right? If I'm fighting, I start with E, but I know like once I have QWE, I can start trying to get resets. So that's just me. Like, of course, like if I could try to get a kill earlier, of course, but I won't start comboing till I get at least level 3 with one skill in each, with 1 point in each skill, if that makes any sense to you whatsoever. Okay, the third thing you want to do, never overextend. If you overextend, people in the game are going to come and try to kill you because you're just this big red, like shiny object to them, and their eyes are just glowing, and they're just going to come for you. So just try to push the minion wave and rotate somewhere else. That's the best advice I could give you. And let the minions take the turrets and try to get plates. If your laner is down, enemy laner is down, and also if the jungler, if you know where the jungler is and he's far away from you, enemy jungler. So I hope these things make sense. Okay, third thing, do never face check a bush. Throw your skills into a bush. I would not even ward if you're alone or if it's like very isolated looking, like the fog is really tricky. Basically, always play around objectives. So if you're doing dragon, go to dragon. You can get a lot of kills there. You can get the dragon there. If your team is doing rift, go with them. If they're doing Baron, go with them. And don't think of it like, oh, I'm going to Baron, get Baron. Like, sure, yes, of course you want Baron, but 5 enemies are going to be gathering around. That's the best time for you to like do your combo. You know what I'm saying? You get a pentakill. Same with dragon. If there's no dragon, don't go in the river. If there's no Baron, don't go in the river. If somebody already died and then like the enemy's running away, never chase. Never chase. I don't care if they're 2 HP. Because when you chase the enemy, the whole enemy team sees that you're chasing their friend and they all will come for you. And you're just gonna die. If somebody's like really low HP and they have like 2 HP left and they're like behind a turret, unless you're like a skilled assassin, don't dive them because they're probably just like baiting you, or they can outplay you with turret shots, or you'll just literally be walking into a turret dying and it's not pretty. Do I have any more advice? Yeah, I do. How you want to do like lane pressure is like really important. So you want to do like, get your turret first. You could do 2 paths from here. You could just continue down your lane, get the inhibitor, or you can rotate and help other teams while still going back to your lane to defend the turret. And then after you get an inhibitor, rotate to the outermost next inhibitor. But personally, I just like, my personal style is like, I like going bot next, then I like going top. And then, but it really depends. Like, you would really go top if you're trying to do Baron pressure, right? If you want like pressure for Baron, because then you're in your top. But like, let's say you're playing a losing game. Of course, you don't want to go to the top lane because the enemy who's really strong is going to be going to Baron, which is top. And then, so you would want to go bot so you can at least try to get some objectives while they take Baron, right? So there's that. Okay, so I was going back to, after you get the inhibitor, one inhibitor, then you go and try to get another inhibitor. Your goal is to try to get 3 inhibitors. And also I want to say that if you, this one's like really important. If you get a turret, and if you get an inhibitor turret, that's the turret that's like right before the inhibitor, but you don't get the inhibitor, don't push that lane anymore. Because the enemy's just gonna be watching you, waiting for you to go, and they're gonna like shut you down. So what you do is that you try to get another turret instead that has like an inhibitor behind it. So that way when you break that inhibitor, you can get 2 inhibitors. The new one that you got plus the one that you left off. And so yeah, that's the objective. First you break all the turrets in front of inhibitors, then you break inhibitors, and never underestimate the power of a super minion wave. Super good, can end the game on that wave. And the later in the game it is, the harder you'll hit the turrets. So you can actually just take turrets even faster. So I would really watch the map pressure. No matter what you're doing, if the enemy is attacking your turret and nobody on your team is returning home, you should step back behind the minions to go somewhere safe. Go home and defend your turrets. Never underestimate the power of playing defensive. In a lot of my old games like Granado Espada, you can win just by having a really amazing defense. And I always played like in the underdog guilds and stuff like that, that we were either undergeared, outnumbered, but we had like skill and strategy, so we would always win. One time my guild was like 4 people. Other times it was just significantly less than the enemies. So yeah, you can always win. Personally, I never surrender. I don't like giving up. But everybody's different, and honestly, you know, it's situational, but I think those things really help. I think that they really help when you just never give up, because have you ever played a game that you thought you were gonna win and then the enemy just wins? Well, sometimes it can be vice versa. So yeah, that's my advice for League, and I hope you have good games with these tips.